Hello, welcome to Little Literati. I'm Jess and this is my November TBR video. And I would like to apologize again. I am getting over being sick and so my voice is a little bit husky and I mostly have it back, but it's just kind of hit or miss sometimes when I'm talking. It might break or go really husky and we'll just kind of see how it goes. So bear with me, I'm really sorry about that. But these are the books that I am hoping and would like to get around to reading in the month of November. We'll see how well I do because I am participating in NaNoWriMo this year, which is National Novel Writing Month. And so that's going to drastically cut down on my available reading time because I'll hopefully be writing instead and hopefully finishing the 50,000 word novel. We'll see how that goes as well. So tune in next month to see how that plays out. But in the meantime, in this space that I'm able to read, I'm wanting to finally get around to reading several of the books that I've been receiving in book subscription boxes, like Fairy Loot and Owl Crate. So I have 7 books on my list that I am hoping to finally get around to. This is actually the most recent. It is Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow, which is a sort of an origin story for the evil queen from Snow White, but in a Chinese background. So it's the first book in the Rise of the Empress series, and I've been really looking forward to reading this for several months. It's been on my Goodreads TBR list, and then I finally got a copy, so I'm really wanting to get around to reading this, and I'm really excited to see how they handle that story. This next one is one that's been on my shelf for several months now. It's Daughter of the Burning City by Foody, and it is about this, I'm trying to remember, I think it's a circus or a festival type thing of illusions, except that this one girl has the power to make her illusions are almost real and possibly alive. And so and I think it takes place in Gomorrah, I want to say. And so that will be a very interesting concept and kind of bring up some morality of what actually, what is life and what is not. And I'm sure it'll be very interesting to play into that and also have a fantastic fantasy element. So I'm excited to read that. The one on here that's probably been here the longest is Roar by Cora Carmack, and this is there's storm magic. And so this is the first book in, I don't know how many books are going to be in the series, but it is a series. And I don't remember most of what the blurb was about, but I know that it sounded interesting and there was going to be like a storm magic and I think conflicting kingdoms and different kinds of magic, and so that'll be very interesting to read. So I am excited to read this. I just haven't gotten around to it in the intervening months since I got it. This is Before She Ignites, which is a story about dragons. And I love dragons. I've been obsessed with dragons for years and years, decades actually. And this is also by Jodi Meadows, who's one of the authors of My Lady Jane, which I absolutely loved when I read it. And so I'm really hopeful that I will like this book and that the single author is as enjoyable for me to read as all 3 of them together, because she did contribute to the 3-authored book that I really enjoy, so I'm hoping that this will be awesome as well. And it's dragons, so I'm really hoping I can't go wrong with this book. These 2 I had wanted to get around to in October, but I didn't. And so I want to get around to them now. This one is Wicked Like a Wildfire. And I have also had this on my list for many months, on my TBR list on Goodreads. And so I want to finally get around to reading this because this is about how magic manifests differently to each girl in this family of kind of witches. And so one sees them, I think, as bright colors, and another one sees them as fractals. And so you can kind of see in the illustration there's like flora, and then there's these kind of fractal flowers on the cover. And the illustration, I mean, the cover art and the colors are just gorgeous on this. And so I really, really want to read this. And so I'm hoping that I can get around to that this month. And this is The Hearts We Sold, which I've had for a couple of months now. And this is, I think the characters sell their hearts to the devil, and then yet they want access to their hearts so they can fall in love or something, but they can't fall in love because their hearts belong to the devil, and so they try to cheat the devil. I think that was the main premise. I'll let you know when I get around to reading it if I'm wrong. I might be way off. But this also sounded very intriguing, and so I want to finally get a chance to reading this as well. This last one from a box is Even the Darkest Stars, which is a lot, not a lot, but I guess there's going to be some hiking in this, and I'm not really an outdoors person. And it's going to be on top of a mountain, and I'm sure it's going to be very cold, and I'm cold just thinking about it. So I'll probably put this on the last of my list. Also, it's one of the more recent, so I feel less guilty about doing that. But I do want to finish all of them and, get them off of my mind and have them stop weighing on me. So I do want to get around to Even the Darkest Stars, but this will also probably still be my last. It is a fantasy, and it says it has dragons and witches and ghosts and magic. But I think the setting is just kind of turning me off. Sorry. This last book is not one that I've received, but it's one that I've been threatening to reread for months now, like 6 months or something. And this is The Eyre, and by Jasper Fforde. And I've read this before, but I now have the next 3 books in the series, and so I want to reread it so that I can read those and just kind of remember all of the key elements from the first one so that the other 3 make sense. So fingers crossed that I can finally get around to reading this and stop threatening to every month. But I do want to read The Eyre, because I remember enjoying it the first time around. And so I want to reread it, and hopefully I'll enjoy it again the second time around, and then be able to tie all the plot threads together throughout the series. So that's The Eyre. So altogether, these are 8 books. And again, we'll see how many I actually get around to. I might not hit any of them just because of the NaNoWriMo, and I think it's honestly the worst possible month for them to do NaNoWriMo is in November, because this is a national, novel writing month. And so we could have picked any month we wanted, and yet we chose a month that has a national holiday that's a pretty big one right at the end of it. So I'm going to have to conflict with Thanksgiving, and fortunately we're not traveling this year. But my daughter's birthday, she'll be turning 2 at the end of the month, and we'll just see how it all plays out. So I've got my fingers crossed that I can actually get things read and also accomplish my writing goals, because I really want to get my book written too. It's been pounding in my head for 4.5 years, and I want to actually get it out so that I can have other thoughts and other stories unfold and have room to expand them. But anyway, so stay tuned and let me know what you're planning on reading this month. Let me know if you're planning on participating in NaNoWriMo this year. This will be my first year participating, and I'm really excited about it. So let me know, and we can encourage each other together through the month when we hit those hard spots. And we will see you at the end of the month with a wrap-up of what I actually managed to get read and written. And we will see you then.